Welcome. In this video, Chapter 10.5, Singularity, of Girls Frontline will be summarized. Throughout the video, there will be spoilers for the story of Girls Frontline. If you don't want to be spoiled, please go and play the game. The event starts with AK-12 and another T-Doll observing a wounded M4, debating on intervening versus orders. The conversation shifts to joining Task Force Defy, ultimately leading to 12's decision to act. Amidst a chaotic situation caused by G and K, 12 prepares for action. 12 communicates with Angie about M4's safety, pondering their motives behind an attack. 12 reflects on human-like constraints and worries about the consequences of inaction. Meanwhile, Star prepares to act independently, brushing off concerns about Parapuli's effects. Despite 12's warnings, Star remains resolute, opting to proceed alone. As they embark on their mission, 12 teases Star about the change of plans, and acknowledges the risks, but agrees to go on with the mission out of necessity. M4 awakens, confused, and encounters Star and 12. Star explains M4's condition and offers assistance. 12 takes responsibility for the situation. They discuss Task Force Defy and M4's past encounters. Star urges M4 to focus on survival despite her concerns for her teammates. M4's memories begin coming back to her, prompting further desire to return for SOP and RO. Star explains that the need for caution is paramount, and reveals M4 was being monitored. They discuss the complexities of their situation and plans for the future. As M4 fades in and out of consciousness, 12 and Star discuss their findings and plan their next move. They acknowledge the absence of SOP and the demise of RO, pondering the implications. They prepare to confront their enemies, reflecting on their circumstances and M4's potential response. 12 contacts Angie after successfully recovering M4, seeking guidance for their next move. Angie remarks on 12's compliance with Star's decisions and expresses curiosity about their new members' decision-making. 12 mentions the heightened interest in M4 from all sides, prompting Angie to praise their efforts and inquire about the situation on the battlefield. 12 reports that SF's main forces are advancing rapidly towards Area S09, indicating a significant escalation. Angie acknowledges the seriousness of the situation and issues new instructions, but abruptly terminates the transmission, leaving 12 puzzled about the contradictory requirements. Later, Angie outlines the plan to exploit the chaos caused by SF's offensive to infiltrate their main fortress swiftly. AN-94 returns, providing crucial information about Parapuli's transmission speed and discovering historical records related to Ogos and a relic site. 94 assists in sorting through the data, while Angie delves deeper into the implications of Ogos's true purpose. They strategize on using abandoned dolls as shields to counteract Parapuli's spread and discuss the importance of maintaining control over radar stations amidst signal jamming. After exhausting the doll's computational power, 94 disconnects, and Angie plans to use a communication station to contact someone outside regarding Ogos. The conversation ends with Angie pondering the significance of Ogos's origins and its current role in controlling SF AIs. Angie sends a transmission to the outside world, discussing G&K's movements towards Area S11 and the impending intervention of the military. She expresses concerns about the lack of support and hints at a radical solution if necessary. In another transmission, 45 contacts Angie, mentioning their encounter with G&K and teasing about their penchant for engineering coincidences. Angie instructs 45 to move to Rendezvous Point C for a database scan in exchange for information on the butterfly incident. She also arranges to send a file via drone, suggesting that others besides Miss Persica need it. 94 receives a comms request from 12 and manages to hold the connection briefly despite Parapuli interference. 12 reports being pinned down by SF main forces and requests support. Angie instructs 94 to rescue them, acknowledging 12's debt owed to 94. 94 provides intel on enemy forces, including the powerful Executioner. Despite the challenges, Angie decides to proceed with the rescue mission. After the battle, Angie confirms the success of securing the rendezvous route. She praises 94's efforts. M4, 12, and Star express gratitude and acknowledgement. Angie welcomes N4 as the new member and commends her final neural upgrade. M4 introduces herself and awaits Angie's orders. Star urges 12 to use her specialty to control military units for passing through SF territory. 12 explains the plan, requiring radar station captures. SF forces close in and M4 expresses guilt. Star insists on carrying M4 despite objections. 12 reveals a plan to confront SF and suggests using military units. M4 questions the strain on 12. 12 swiftly establishes control over military units, surprising Star. 12 explains the delayed action due to circumstances. And 12 plans to confront the SF forces while debugging M4's system to improve her. After the battle, 12 takes the opportunity to repair and upgrade M4's neural cloud within the safe house. M4 expresses concern about the duration of the repair, to which 12 reassures her that it won't take long and mentions plans for an upgrade. Initially hesitant, M4 agrees once 12 asserts it's an order. During the upgrade process, 12 makes conversation with M4, suggesting she address her as Big Sis 12, though she quickly dismisses the idea. 12 notices the unused capacity in M4's neural cloud, leading her to believe that M4 has been modified with military spec parts. This prompts 12 to remark that Angie must have her eye on M4. Meanwhile, Star interrupts the conversation between 12 and M4, expressing her annoyance at being excluded. 12 proceeds with the upgrade and M4 initiates a discussion about the commander and other dolls' well-being, showing concern for their safety. 12 mentions that they likely face heavy losses due to the military's involvement. M4 becomes distraught, blaming SF for the casualties, prompting Star to reveal the truth. The military orchestrated the attack on G&K. She identifies Captain Yegor as the mastermind behind the operation and Aro's murderer. Shocked by this revelation, M4 vows to avenge her fallen comrades. As the upgrade nears completion, 12 advises M4 to remain calm and follow Star's orders. M4 agrees to join Defy, fueled by her determination to seek justice for Aro and Sop. Later, during a breakthrough operation, 12, Star, and M4 engage SF forces. Despite concerns about M4 handling enemies alone, 12 trusts Angie's judgment. M4's performance post-repair impresses 12, who warns her not to overexert herself. Star shares a cautionary tale about endurance, prompting M4 to ask about Star's survival. Before Star can respond, their conversation is interrupted by an explosion from SF's artillery fire. They realize they've been spotted and face a formidable enemy. Star urges 12 to contact Angie for support, despite 12's initial reluctance. The transmission gets cut off as they await rescue while preparing to hold off the enemy. The battle concludes with the arrival of Angie and 94. Angie reveals that M16's weapons case is a SF weapon, essentially a scaled-down version, yet just as powerful, Jupiter cannon, cautioning M4 about its use. Meanwhile, 12 and 94 discuss database findings hindered by Parapuli interference. Angie plans to involve her secretive Black Ops Squad, Squad 404, for further investigation. At the G&K command post, Kalina praises the victory, but worries about missing T-dolls. Despite disrupted communications, they send out a messenger doll with rescue orders. Kalina remains hopeful about rescuing survivors and vows to save as many T-dolls as possible during the withdrawal. At G&K HQ, Hellion struggles to establish communication with commanders. A T-doll, MP7, reports from outside the GMing radius, detailing the ongoing struggle against SF forces and infected military units. Hellion instructs MP7 to prioritize retreat and potential rescue missions. Despite concerns about HQ's safety, Hellion reassures MP7, with MP7 being determined to aid allies, and returns to the battlefield. At G&K HQ, Hellion provides Kruger with a comprehensive update on the unfolding events in Area S09. She reveals the military's intention to use G&K as scapegoats and assume control of the region. This revelation confirms Kruger's suspicions about the military's motives. As they watch a news report featuring General Carter's statement, Kruger decides to remain behind while instructing Hellion to execute evacuation plans for the rest of G&K. Despite Hellion's concern for his safety, Kruger displays confidence in his ability to handle the situation and support for the commanders on the front lines. After Hellion leaves, Kruger makes a personal call, presumably to Javier, to convey a message before potential danger escalates further. Meanwhile, as G&K forces withdraw to safety in Area S11, led by Kalina, they celebrate their tactical victory over the military units. However, they also learn that other G&K T-Dolls are still stranded in the contaminated zone. Despite the inconvenience and potential risk, they decide to extend their mission to escort and protect their fellow T-Dolls, reflecting G&K's commitment to their comrades' safety. The battle concludes, and Kalina reports their safe return of the T-Dolls, albeit without knowledge of their mysterious rescuer. Upon receiving a message from the messenger drone, she relays orders to retreat to Area S11, realizing they're the only forces left in the contaminated zone. Despite the atmosphere, Kalina holds on to the hope for a future counterattack. Back at G&K's HQ, Kruger is confronted by a military representative who formally arrests him for various crimes. Kruger maintains his composure, acknowledging the situation and expressing familiarity with legal procedures. He reflects on his past discussions with Carter, but remains composed despite the arrest. At G&K's temporary outpost, CZ-2000 thanks the commander for saving her and shares intel about a nearby SF command post. Thunder offers infiltration plans to avoid direct confrontation, frustrating CZ-2000, who's determined to shine in battle. Despite the tension, they prepare to launch the operation, with 2000 eager to settle a score with Scorpion once they're out of danger. Back with Task Force Defy, M4 barely manages to board a departing train, determined to find Mastermind before it reaches its destination. Along the way, she encounters additional defense forces, indicating the Mastermind's presence nearby. After overcoming many obstacles, M4 finally confronts M16, who reveals her capture and brainwashing by SF. Despite M4's shock, M16 insists on taking Elisa, the Mastermind, citing her danger to everyone. Refusing to let her go, M4 prepares for a confrontation, determined to stop M16 and protect Elisa at all costs. Angie reveals orders to stop the military from taking the Mastermind and briefs Task Force Defy on their new mission. M4 is appointed as the team lead, much to her surprise, and the team prepares for infiltration. Meanwhile, Persica and Angie discuss Mastermind's capture of M4 and the potential connection to Lyco, as well as the OGOS project's involvement. Persica reveals encrypted data on OGOS participants, including Javier Witkin, leading to further questions about their next move. Angie and 12 discuss the military's preparations, including deploying tanks and an intercontinental train. Angie instructs 12 to infiltrate a transmission repeater station to monitor the military's movements. Meanwhile, Persica discovers a crucial document related to the OGOS system and receives a call from Javier, who warns her against digging deeper into the truth. The reason why Javier warns Persica is for her own safety, revealing Kruger's arrest and expressing his concern. Persica insists on continuing despite Javier's objections. Meanwhile, Angie and Persica discuss their discoveries, including the military's potential plan to control the Mastermind using a powerful electronic method called Super Parapuli. They suspect that the military's recent actions are part of a larger scheme to gain control over the Mastermind. Persica also speculates on the timing of the military's interest in OGOS and its connection to a former member of 90 Wish named William. Angie orders M4's team to halt their current mission and prepare for electronic warfare. They plan to intercept the military's hacking attempt on Mastermind, with Angie intending to use M4 to draw Mastermind into their control. Persica warns Angie about the risk, but Angie is determined to use any chance for victory. Later, Angie informs Persica that the military's hacking operation is underway, but the data is heavily encrypted, making interception difficult. Persica worries that they may be doomed, but Angie hints at a last resort. Suddenly, the communication is cut off, leaving Persica concerned for Angie's safety. Persica anxiously awaits communication recovery, hoping for Angie's safety. Angie reassures Persica that she's fine, having secured a military comms station. She revealed that the military's attempt to seize Mastermind has failed, suggesting something unexpected occurred. Angie predicts the military's next move, advancing with tanks to physically capture Mastermind. Persica acknowledges the situation's gravity, but agrees to assist Angie. They end the transmission, both ready to face the challenges ahead. Task Force Defy continues to push forward towards the repeater station as M4 silently watches Star adjust her gear in the darkness. Star reveals that Mastermind created a force field around her during the explosion, allowing her to survive despite severe injuries. She underwent significant changes, including upgrades and the deletion of her original principal order to protect M4. M4 expresses frustration over Star's secrecy, revealing the team's belief that she had perished. Star explains that her external interfaces were shut down to curb the parapluie within her, preventing any contact. She acknowledges that the deletion of her protective order has left her feeling free, no longer bound to risk her life for M4. Despite Star's changes and newfound autonomy, M4 insists on continuing their mission together. She muses on Mastermind's motives for saving Star, hinting at complexities in their conflict with SF. As M4 walks away with a determined, icy gleam in her eyes, Star contemplates whether the changes in her comrade are truly for the better. The military's vanguard is sweeping contaminated areas with armored units on standby, poised to advance. Even their recon units are formidable. Despite this, M4 insists on moving forward to exploit the current vulnerability before the main forces arrive, directing 12 to find a route around the vanguard. 12 identifies a path through tight terrain that avoids the military's detection but risks SF interference. As Task Force Defy moves out, they encounter minimal resistance from SF units, which seems suspiciously easy. Suddenly, Intruder ambushes them, damaging 12 and the surrounding team. Despite the setback, M4 prioritizes hacking the repeater station to complete their mission. And, after securing the station, they experience an intense electronic warfare attack from the military, disrupting their communications. Once resolved, they receive new orders to rescue Squad 404, who are pinned down by SF forces, demonstrating M4's unwavering resolve and strategic focus amidst chaos. Defy continues breaking through SF units to reach 404. During the mission, 12 questions M4 about her disappointment in not rescuing other key figures like Sop or the commander. M4, focused on her orders, dismisses these concerns. Suddenly, M4 hears a clear voice urging her to find her original self and promising coordinates to find missing team members. Skeptical, M4 demands proof, but the voice only provides coordinates, leading M4 to question its true intentions. Returning to reality, M4 and her team prepare to assist 404. 12 expresses curiosity about the meeting between the leaders of AR Team and Squad 404. As M4 contacts 404, she engages with 45, who hints at deeper motives and reveals Geiger's involvement in their current predicament. 45 proposes a plan to terminate Geiger, involving coordinated efforts between both teams. M4 reveals the plan, acknowledging 45's strategic prowess and understanding why she's so feared. They prepare to act, balancing the immediate rescue mission with a broader goal of eliminating a key enemy orchestrating their challenges. Defy reaches 404 at the central database, with M4 engaging in a tense battle of wits and tactics with SF forces. Geiger and Agent note M4's unusual behavior of seemingly abandoning her team to make a lone breakout, suspecting a trap and seeing an opportunity. M4, however, is part of a broader plan, and as she battles Geiger, she reveals her strategic positioning to draw Geiger out. Meanwhile, 45 and 404 dismantle the SF units from behind, surprising Geiger and tipping the battle in G&K's favor. As Geiger realizes she's been outmaneuvered, M4's team activates abandoned military units to annihilate the remaining SF forces. Despite Geiger's resistance, M4 executes her, completing the mission and ordering Task Force Defy to regroup and rendezvous with Squad 404. Throughout, M4 battles inner turmoil, with the mysterious voice urging her towards revenge, highlighting her complex motivations and the dark transformation she's undergoing. In the aftermath, M4's internal struggles continue as she receives new coordinates from the voice, indicating a potential path to her missing team members, but also a deeper manipulation at play. The mission's completion leaves M4 and her team contemplating their next steps, with M4's resolve hardened by her encounter and the mysterious voice's influence. 45 orders her team to leave before G&K's echelons arrive and instructs 9 to erase their records. Later, 404 meets with Angie, who hints at another dangerous mission. 45 acknowledges that every meeting with Angie brings trouble, and this time is no exception. Angie reveals the mission involves the OGA system, a crucial element of the SF doll protocol, linked to a more destructive goal than previously known. Recalling the butterfly incident, Angie explains this mission is a continuation and that the stakes are high. 45, motivated by personal stakes, agrees to locate the SF Central Database, gather intel on the butterfly operation and OGOS, and find Mastermind before the opposition does. Determined and aware of the significance of the task, 45 declares it's time to end the conflict, showing her resolve in the changes she has undergone. 45 rallies her team for a new mission, despite 416's skepticism and 11's grogginess. Their employer has tasked them with a significant problem, requiring them to locate and utilize a nearby SF network repeater station guarded by SF dolls. 9 confirms the station's presence, and they proceed to take it over. Once inside, 45 begins connecting to the SF network, with 416 expressing concern about the Parapuli virus. 45 reassures her that she can't easily be rewritten. As 45 focuses on the hack, 416 spots military dolls, indicating heavy security and confirming that they have the right target. Despite 11's reluctance and fear, 45 insists they proceed, warning that failure to stay alert could result in serious consequences. 404 finds themselves overwhelmed by SF-controlled military units, prompting 45 to consider retreat. However, when they discover that military units have surrounded them from behind as well, their options are limited. Suddenly, the enemy units freeze, providing an unexpected opportunity to push forward. Despite 416's further skepticism, 45 insists on advancing, driven by the chance to uncover crucial information from the SF Central Database. Upon reaching their destination, they encounter Geiger, who threatens them before abruptly cutting off communication. As they await backup from M4, now under Angie's command, 45 remains resolute in her determination to survive and seek revenge, even amidst the danger they face. 404 continues to fight off SF-controlled military units, with 45 orchestrating a plan to divert Geiger's attention. Despite initial setbacks, they manage to weaken the enemy forces and confront Geiger directly, ultimately destroying her. 45 then delivers a surprise to Geiger before regrouping with AR team. With the battle over, 45 and Angie discuss their success and the payment for their services, which includes information about the butterfly incident. M4 raises concern among the team members, hinting at underlying tensions and unresolved issues within the group. As the conversation concludes, it's clear that revenge remains a driving force for all involved. At the G&K command post, amid withdrawal, the team encounters Geiger's forces. Despite concerns about facing her, they decide to confront her known troops rather than an unknown enemy. After a successful battle, Geiger surprises them with an ambush, surrounding their rear units. Geiger demands Architect's location in exchange for sparing the dolls, leaving the team in a difficult position as communication is cut off. Inside SF's lair, Ogos, the advanced AI, converses with Elisa, reflecting on memories stored in the central database. Ogos expresses uncertainty about its purpose and potential departure, prompting reassurance from Elisa. Meanwhile, outside the lair, the military detects Ogos's attempts to access their network. General Carter faces a crisis as Ogos's hacking speed exceeds expectations, breaching their defenses rapidly. Despite desperate efforts to sever connections and activate defenses, Ogos's infiltration persists, leading to a critical failure in military systems. In the midst of the chaos, Professor William emerges with insights into Ogos's behavior, pointing out its signal overlap with the SF mastermind. He suggests leveraging this overlap to locate and neutralize the mastermind. Despite initial skepticism, Carter acknowledges William's plan and begins preparations for the operation, aiming to swiftly resolve the crisis and secure the key they both seek. After communications are cut once again, confusion reigns among the G and K T-Dolls, unsure of their next move. Kalina's urgent call prompts a chaotic retreat, with some T-Dolls fighting to create an escape path. Geiger, frustrated by the sudden escape, orders an attack, but most of G and K manages to flee successfully. In the aftermath, Agent admonishes Geiger for neglecting her duties, leading to the breach of the central database. Geiger expresses regret over her actions and vows to rectify the situation. Agent resolves to assist in resolving the crisis and dealing with the G and K commander, who poses a threat to SF. Agent confronts the commander, declaring SF's intent to eliminate them. In the ensuing battle, G and K believes they defeated Agent, only to realize they've fallen into a trap. Kalina is caught in an explosion and finds herself at Agent's mercy. Agent, demonstrating her superior strength, prepares to end Kalina's life. As Kalina struggles for breath, seemingly on the brink of death, another voice intervenes, saving her. It's Angie, offering a chance for Kalina to live and arranging a meeting with M4. Despite Agent's initial reluctance, Angie's plea resonates and she spares Kalina, acknowledging the value of both humans and dolls. In the midst of military mobilization, M4 awakens to find herself a part of an operation against the military's escalating actions. She, along with her comrades, discuss the situation and the likelihood of receiving support from the higher-ups. Angie, facing political hurdles and bureaucratic red tape, struggles to obtain authorization for a decisive plan to stop the activation of the Ogos system, a move that could plunge the world into chaos. Despite the urgency of the situation, Angie's efforts are stymied by bureaucratic inertia and political calculations. Meanwhile, Persica and Javier delve into the mysterious circumstances surrounding Lycoris's death and the potential implications of Ogos reactivation. Their conversations shed light on the clandestine operations of 90 Wish, the involvement of the relic site, and the military's covert agenda. Javier offers his support to Angie, proposing a bold and risky plan to thwart the military's scheme. Despite the dangers involved, Angie reluctantly accepts, recognizing the gravity of the situation and the necessity of decisive action. As they finalize their plans, tensions rise and the stage is set for a high-stakes confrontation that could determine the fate of not only their own factions, but also the world at large. Angie coordinates a complex plan with her team to intercept SF's attempts to lure M4. Utilizing an airdrop, Angie hopes to trap SF while gathering intelligence on the mastermind's location. However, intercepted transmissions reveal M4's willingness to meet with SF, prompting doubts and concerns among the team. As they prepare to execute their plan, Angie reveals her intention to inform M4 of their strategy, banking on her ruthless nature to understand the necessity of their actions. Angie's team braces for the possibility of a confrontation with SF in the military. Despite the risks and uncertainties, they remain resolute in their mission to thwart the enemy's plans and protect their comrades. Angie contacts M4, revealing her knowledge of M4's intent to meet with SF's mastermind. Despite M4's doubts and desire for revenge, Angie implores her to consider the broader consequences and offers her a choice: to capture the mastermind or risk triggering a catastrophic event. Meanwhile, the team prepares for their mission, including the setup of mysterious containers that Angie hints contains collapse fluid. As tensions rise and doubts linger, M4 seeks guidance from Star, who shares insights into their past and the sacrifices made for M4's safety. Despite the team's fractured state, Star ultimately supports M4's decision, urging her to bring their missing comrades home. With time running out and the mission escalating, the team must trust in Angie's plan and their own resolve to see it through to the end. M4 finally confronts the mastermind, hoping to retrieve information about her missing comrades. Despite Mastermind's attempts to manipulate her with their shared past and original names, M4 remains resolute. When Mastermind claims ignorance of any agreement, M4's frustration boils over into violence, only to be thwarted by the intervention of Agent. As the battle unfolds, the team faces off against the formidable SF forces led by Elisa, the Mastermind, and Agent. Despite their best efforts, they struggle to gain ground against the enemy's defenses. The situation becomes even more dire when Igor interferes by sending military tanks to reinforce Mastermind's position. Angie, aware of the escalating danger, urgently coordinates with her team, urging them to hold the line and prevent the enemy from capturing Mastermind. Despite the overwhelming odds stacked against them, Angie's resolve remains unshaken as she rallies the team to fight on against both SF and military forces. M4 and Squad 404 find themselves in a dire situation, facing overwhelming enemy forces. Despite their best efforts, they struggle to break through the enemy's defenses. Angie coordinates them, urging them to find Mastermind amidst the chaos. The team makes a daring move to draw enemy fire away, allowing them to advance. However, they face severe casualties, including critical injuries to 45. As the battle intensifies, SF defenses weaken, and Mastermind is finally surrounded. However, the situation becomes even more complicated when the military intervenes further, posing a new threat to both sides. Igor's forces capture Mastermind, leading to a desperate decision from M4 to activate a last resort plan involving collapse fluid. The detonation causes widespread destruction, wiping out enemy forces and leaving the team in disarray. Despite injuries, Angie pushes the team to continue the mission, urging them to capture Mastermind at all costs. M4 leads her teams, presses forward, determined to complete their objective amidst the chaos and uncertainty. In the heat of the pursuit, M4 and her team face the daunting challenge of tracking down the Mastermind amidst chaotic battlegrounds. The military's sudden halt, presumably due to being too close to the detonation site, provides a brief respite. However, 12's efforts to locate the Mastermind are hindered by ongoing signal jamming. Despite the setbacks, 94's keen observation skills spot a moving target heading towards the train station, likely Mastermind's escape route. With determination, M4 formulates a daring plan. She'll board the train, counting on her squad to cover her as she closes in on their elusive target. As the squad executes their plan, M4 finds herself facing off against M16. M16, now allied with SF, hints at a deeper purpose behind her actions, suggesting a future confrontation with M4. Their encounter highlights the complexity of allegiances in the midst of a conflict where loyalties are constantly tested and alliances are fluid. Despite the tension between them, M4 still holds out hope for M16's redemption, expressing a desire for Persica to save her from the influence of Parapuli. Meanwhile, the military receives orders to eliminate their targets, intensifying the stakes of the mission. These orders, coupled with the military's desperate attempts to prevent M4 and her squad from reaching the Mastermind, underscore the gravity of the situation. The pursuit becomes not only a race against time, but also a battle against formidable adversaries determined to thwart their every move. As the conflict escalates, M4's resolve is put to the test as she navigates through treacherous terrain, driven by the urgency of capturing Mastermind and uncovering the truth behind the escalating crisis. Thank you for watching. Please follow my Twitter and Blue Sky for updates, and please check out my other Arknights and Azure Lane videos as well.